Hello everyone, it's the Axel Shifter here, and I am back with the next Multiverse Wars episode number 68. And I'm sorry it's been a while, college and everything has gone in the way and stuff, and I'm still working on the Street Raiders movie, so don't worry on that. But anyways, now it's time we get into another matchup. We have Doodlebob versus Snap from Chalkzone. These two drawings that are also alive, who would win? Let's find out. Yeah, let's go. Doodlebob is a minor character in the SpongeBob series. He only made one appearance in this episode, being once he was made by SpongeBob and Patrick for fun using the magical pencil. He was then made in the process in which, he was born. He is a living drawing after all. But after which, he started to cause some chaos. He attacked SpongeBob, Patrick, and even Squidward in detention, and he even tried to kill SpongeBob before SpongeBob defeated him. But now let's discuss his powers, abilities, and feats. Doodlebob can beat up Squidward, knock out Patrick, and fought against SpongeBob. And all of these feats are pretty impressive considering that SpongeBob can create and destroy dreams and imaginations, which has consistently shown in the show to be real and can interact with the other characters and the other show's reality and stuff. He can also destroy his own brain, and his brain contains a pocket dimension inside of it, housing a starry sky and a sun in the background. So that's pretty insane stuff. And since Doodlebob can fight SpongeBob, he should be at the low end scale to multi-solar system level, at least considering that SpongeBob's scale's there at his lowest too. But you could argue it to be even higher considering that SpongeBob once inserted an entire pocket dimension within the Krusty Krab's kitchen, large enough that house 3 galaxies in the background, and upon getting his spatula back, he created a space around him housing 2 galaxies in the background again. So by proxy of all these feats, Doodlebob has the potential to scale to galaxy to even universal levels of power in terms of attack potency and durability. Now as for speed, he can't keep up with SpongeBob again, who can pull and react the string in the episode The String, and he was able to unravel the entire universe in seconds. And he also keep up with Patrick, who ran from the sun and back in only a few seconds, making him massively faster than light. And so does Doodlebob because he scales to SpongeBob, who also scales to Patrick, so all 3 of them should scale to each other. Next is hacks and abilities, and Doodlebob has some pretty impressive stuff for his powers. For one, he wields the magical pencil, which can pretty much erase anything from existence while also creating them simply by drawing them into creation, and then they'll come to life and just act sentient and shit. And also, the eraser just erase anything from existence, so that's some pretty impressive hacks there. He also saw through SpongeBob and Patrick's disguises, which really just shows he has really average level of intelligence. I don't really exactly know how smart he is. I mean, he kind of just seems like some random creature that comes to life and just starts attacking people, so, Now, as for his weaknesses, he really only has one major weakness: paper. If he ever comes into contact with paper, he'll begin to fuse within it, and then it becomes fully infused in paper, he'll just become a normal drawing, therefore defeating him. But overall, Doodlebob has proven himself to be a formidable foe against SpongeBob, who is already a pretty powerful guy. Snap is the favorite drawing and best friend of Rudy Tooby, and he happens to be the first resident of the Chalkzone that the 10-year-old boy Rudy meets. And after their initial reunion, Snap explains all about the Chalkzone and how Rudy is to be its protector. And from that point forward, Snap, along with Penny Sanchez, becomes Rudy's most frequent companion in his adventures throughout the Chalk world. And so, now in terms of AP and durability, Snap has never actually fought anyone outside, in the real world anyway, outside of Chalkzone. So it's unknown where his attack potency would lie there, but his attack potency when fighting things in the Chalkzone should range the city block level, as he has often harmed those who can harm him, such as the Sneaky Witch and Boo Rat, characters who do scale in that range, so that's pretty cool. He's also pretty fast as he can keep up with Rudy. And Rudy reacted to the evil brain's laser, which should put him around at least relativistic reaction speeds, since it is light after all. He should also be comparable to Rudy again because he managed to flip a cloud upside down. And also, he's also pretty intelligent too for a drawing because despite his role as the goofy sidekick, Snap has still proven that he is just as smart as really not just as smart, but he is still a rather quick thinker and creative, and as the one who drew him. And along with his wisecracking nature, he can constantly serve as the trio's walking encyclopedia just about anything relating to the Chalkzone and how it works and the beings that reside within it. So yeah, that's a pretty good thing for him. As for his other abilities, he can actually summon things such as the tofu by singing a part of his ballad. He can regenerate too from any kind of damage really, but not all the time though. And also, he has a type 1, type 2, and type 3s of immortality, meaning that he can survive having his head detached from the rest of his body, and astral projection, meaning that he can enter his own mind, and can even make himself light as a feather, so his hacks and abilities can be pretty cool and pretty useful. And even then, he is also resistant to fire and the extreme cold and stuff. And he's also immune to the effects of the major band's power zappy beam, the same power zappy beam that can zap the power of any other creature in the Chalkzone. And it can even kind of stop time, as you can say here. But as for his weaknesses, he can be a bit full of himself, and also, much like Doodlebob, he only has one really true weakness: water. If water ever attempts to get close to him, or at least actually does get close to him, well, he can just be washed away by the water. So, yeah, that's a pretty glaring weakness and pretty easy one to exploit. But overall, Snap has shown to be a really useful sidekick, but it's also proved that he can be so much more than just that. And now that we've discussed both characters, it's time we talk about who would win this fight, and why Doodlebob would win. Yeah, it's safe to say that this fight is fairly one-sided in Doodlebob's favor, because for one, the difference in strength, attack ability, and durability is too much, and especially for speed, Doodlebob is easily massively faster than light as he kept up with both SpongeBob and Patrick, who could do pretty insane stuff like Patrick running to the sun in a few seconds, and with SpongeBob being able to keep up with him too, unraveling the universe in seconds. Yeah, that's some pretty insane shit. All this trumps Snap's feats too, and on top of the fact that he has way more impressive hacks too. Yeah, Snap might be able to stop time, I guess, for a little bit, but Doodlebob has the magical pencil which can erase anything from existence. And also, both their weaknesses are not really much the same either, because Doodlebob's weakness is paper, and while Snap's weaknesses is really water, or really being washed away by it. Snap's weakness will be much easier for Doodlebob to exploit than for Snap to exploit Doodlebob's weakness as paper, because paper is not everywhere around in the world, really, or at least in the Chalkzone anyway. Water exists in the Chalkzone and the SpongeBob world because they are quite literally underwater, the SpongeBob characters are. And even if there was paper around, Snap wouldn't really know to exploit it, since he wouldn't know Doodlebob's weakness, because this will be a random encounter. Well, Doodlebob, on the other hand, well, yeah, he might not know Snap's weakness too, but he might not really try it, but even then, he still has a magical pencil which can just draw and erase anything, so he won't even have to exploit his main weakness. He can just erase him from existence using the magical pencil as eraser. So yeah, on top of being stronger and faster, Doodlebob also has more experience, I guess you can say, having more impressive hacks, and is just more smarter, you can say, too. But yeah, overall, Doodlebob would destroy Snap, honestly. Yeah, the winner is Doodlebob.